Another major silly season domino has fallen as it has been announced that Brent Crews will join Joe Gibbs Racing in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series in 2026. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to our video. As I just said a second ago, we got some pretty massive major breaking news this late afternoon as it has been officially announced and confirmed that Brent Crews will join Joe Gibbs Racing in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series in 2026. Here's a statement from Joe Gibbs Racing. News: Toyota development driver Brent Crews will pilot the number 19 Toyota GR Supra in the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series for 29 races in 2026. Brent Crews is going to run the majority of the season in the 2026 year. Obviously, if you've been paying attention to this channel over the course of the last few months, it has been rumored over the course of the last few months that Brent Crews more than likely was going to be joining Joe Gibbs Racing for the 2026 O'Reilly Auto Parts Series season and driving a number 19 car in 2026. And now it's officially confirmed that will be happening for the 2026 year. Brent Crews, in my opinion, is an extremely talented young race car driver. He has shown so much potential and shown a lot of really good things over the years and has done some pretty good things in the lower series coming up over the course of the last half decade or so. He made some select starts in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in 2025, had a pretty good run going in North Wilkesboro, keeping up at Corey Heim throughout the day, got taken out in a crash with near Ben Rose near the end of the race. Then he had a really strong run at IRP, well, before that, where he finished 8th at Lime Rock Park, where he had a strong car. Then you think about the Roval, where he finished 2nd and probably should have won. And then, of course, he finished 4th in Martinsville, which, let's be real, he probably should have won that race in Martinsville. And had a really good run going in Phoenix, but unfortunately had a transmission issue near the end of the race. And then, of course, he competed for Joe Gibbs Racing in the ARCA Series in 2025. He picked up the win at Phoenix early in the year, though I think Brendan Queen should have won. He also won at Indianapolis Raceway Park, won at ISF, won at Bristol, won at the DuQuoin State Fairgrounds also in 2025. And in the ARCA East Series, he had a pretty strong year, finished 7th in the standings, picked up wins at Rockingham, picked up the win at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and picked up the win at Bristol as well. And also near the end of the season, picked up the win in the season finale at Phoenix. But not only that, he has won races in the Cars Tour as well, driving for Kevin Harvick Incorporated. He won at OCS in 2024, picked up another one at Caraway Speedway, also won at Ace Speedway as well in 2024 in the Stock Tour, and then of course he had a really strong one in the Pro Late Model Tour, nearly won races as well. But he's also the youngest driver to win a championship in the TA2 Series as well, became the youngest driver to get that done. He also, of course, owned a team in the Craftsman Truck Series in 2025, where they ran the race at Watkins Glen, where he finished around 16th or 17th position. We all kind of remember there was a lot of thought that Connor Zolch, Jesse Love were owning the team, but that became not true at that point. I am very high on Brent Crews. I think Brent Crews is someone that has a lot of talent, and I truly think has a lot of potential to be really successful in this sport. There's a lot of people already comparing him to Connor Zolch in a way, and I think he is Toyota's version of Connor Zolch. We know Connor Zolch is a fantastic road course racer. I would put Brent Crews almost on that same level, though probably not on the same level as Connor Zolch. But when I think about young prospects coming up to the ranks, I would have Connor Zolch at number 1 and Corey Heim being number 1A, 1B. And then I put Brent Crews as number 3. I think this young man has a lot of promise, and I think he has a lot of potential. Now, the big question is, who will his crew chief be? I would not be shocked if it's Seb Chafka. Seb Chafka was a crew chief for the 19 car in 2025. I'd have to think more than likely in 26 you're going to see Seb Chafka be the crew chief on this car in 2026, though the crew chief lineup is still to be finalized at this point and at this time. Now, what are the expectations of Brent Crews going into the 2026 year? The goal for Brent Crews is to win races. Brent Crews, I think, has a really good chance to win. Now, as mentioned, he will not run every single race at all 33 races. He'll run 29. He technically will run the full season. He just can't run 4 races early in the year until he turns 18 years old. Yes, there is a new thing in the sport where you now can be 17 and run at tracks that are 1.25 miles or shorter. Brent does not turn 18 until late March. I think it's like March 30th, I'm pretty sure, of next year. So Brent Crews does have to wait a little bit to go and run, but he will have the opportunity to race at tracks like Circuit Americas, which I think he's going to have a really good chance, an opportunity to win at COTA, unless Connor Zolch is in the race, or SVG's in the race, which at that point I think they're going to beat him. But I think Brent Crews is going to win in 2026. I think Brent Crews is going to have a really strong car next year. I think he will be one of the favorites to win the championship by the end of the season. And I would not be surprised or shocked if Brent Crews has a 4 to 5 win season. I think he's that talented, and I think he's that capable. And you think about the long-term side of things. We know that Denny Hamlin is probably going to retire at the conclusion of 2027. Many people think that Brent Crews is that guy that is going to go in and replace Denny Hamlin once he decides to retire at the conclusion of 2027. And I think Brent Crews is that guy that is going to be good enough to do really strong in 2026. I think Brent Crews is going to have a pretty strong year, and I think he will be a championship threat and contender. Now, he's going to have some really good competition in 2026. He's going to have to worry about guys like Sammy Smith, Carson Quaffle, Justin Allgaier from Junior Motorsports. Junior Motorsports was the strongest team in 2025, and they were the team to beat throughout the year. He's going to have to beat all those guys next year, and two of those guys picked up wins. And one of them now having Rodney Childers as a crew chief, I think he's going to be able to pick up wins and victories. Then you think about his teammates most likely next year. Speaking of which, I don't expect anything to change on the lineup next year. I think Brandon Jones is going to stay in the 20. Taylor Gray, I think, will be back in the 54. And I think William Swatch is going to stay in the 18. I expect Gray and Jones to be major threats for the championship next year, considering Taylor Gray looked really strong in the second half of the year. And then, of course, you have William Swatch, who I think showed a lot of promise and potential in the second half of the year, and definitely got a lot better throughout the year. And then you think about other drivers who ran very, very well, like Harrison Burns going to be with Sam Hunt Racing. Corey Day is going to be full-time at Hendrick Motorsports. I expect Corey Day to get better. You're going to have Roger Krufus going to run the full season at O'Reilly Auto Parts Series this year. I think he's going to be good. You've got other drivers like Parker Retzlaff of Viking this year. You got a lot of really strong competition. Jesse Love, Austin Hill, Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed. There's a lot of really strong competition going in this year for a guy like Brent Crews, who is going to be young and has a lot. But I think at 17, he's going to win races. I think he's going to be a threat. I think he's going to run some truck races. Well, more than likely, there's a lot of rumors he'll make some truck series starts in 2026. And I think that Brent Crews is going to be good next season. I think he's going to show so much potential next year. And I think it'll be a good enough year for Brent. And it's going to be a learning year at the same time as well. I think it'll be really fun to watch in the 2026 season. I think that this Joe Gibbs Racing team is going to do what they can to try to give Brent Crews the best opportunity and chance to go out there and win. And I think it's going to be a fun year for him with Joe Gibbs Racing next year, and I'm excited to see where he could go, because there's probably going to be some Cup guys also running next year. I would expect all the Hendrick guys like Kyle Larson, Chase Light, Alex Bowman, and William Byron to drive in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series at some point. Then I would also think there's a chance you could see Kyle Busch or Austin Dillon with RCR if they decide to run a third car next year. Then you've got other teams that could run for guys like AJ Allmendinger, Carson Hocevar, you name it. Denny Hamlin could potentially make a start or two next year. Christopher Bell can make a start next year. And speaking of which, for the other four races, I have to think Eric Almirola, if he doesn't retire, I think he'll be the favorite to probably drive the 19 car next year to try to get that team in the owner's points position for the owner's points championship. And then you think about other names who could be in the series next year, like a Brendan Butterby Queen if he wants to make a few starts. But I think this is some really exciting stuff nonetheless, and I'm very excited to see how this team is going to do. I'm excited for Brent. Congratulations to them on getting this opportunity for Joe Gibbs Racing. It's finally confirmed. I know Connor Silich is probably happy, same with Jesse Love as well. Again, congratulations to Brent Crews on joining Joe Gibbs Racing in 2026 in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. So, that's for today's special breaking news report on Brent Crews joining Joe Gibbs Racing in 2026. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Notifications on so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go some more of that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. How do you think Brent Crews is going to do in the 2026 season? Let me your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think he'll be a championship threat or not? Let me your thoughts in the comments below. If any other major news breaks later today, we'll discuss it live on the channel. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to be doing a video on a team preview, most likely on Richard Childress Racing for their Cup and O'Reilly Auto Parts program. And then, of course, we're probably actually going to do the Colleague Truck Series team tomorrow, actually. Talk about that a little bit. And then, of course, we are going to do some other content dropping on the channel as well throughout the next couple days. Wednesday, we're going to have a NASCAR news video before we head to Thanksgiving. Thursday is going to be the Thanksgiving video, the Q&A that I promised you guys earlier in the week. And some other content be dropping over the weekend. We'll actually do 10 drivers and be stepping up in 26 probably tomorrow. We got content coming up. People like Haley Deegan, Shaman Gisberg, and Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bo Wallace, Ross Chastain, Charlie Creed, Sam Mayer, Frankie Muniz, Kyle Larson, Chase Light, Ryan Priest, Brad Keselowski, Cletus Safran, Dodge Ram, Will Brown, Brad Feeney, Cam Waters, Tony Stewart, Casey Kane, Robbie Gordon, Colleague Racing, Junior Motorsports, Connor Zilich, Daniel Suarez, all the good stuff we'll talk about on the channel in the coming days and coming weeks as well. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode. I'll see you guys next time for more great awesome NASCAR content, another motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.